Netanyahu. Netanyahu. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the February 11th, 2026 Wednesday edition. I am Scott Leisure. I like that there's more light outside at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday as we near the midway point of February. I hope everyone also enjoyed the incredible snow moon last weekend. I hope we all took some time to manifest some energy and set ourselves up for our next phase. If you stop and look at what is going on in the world right now, we need all of that full moon lunar energy that we can get. Does anyone else feel that things feel calmer though, even though we all know that they aren't? Look, there's a ton of really whacked out stuff going on out there involving very powerful and very rich people. Now, as you know, here on your favorite weekly podcast, Wednesday edition, we practice growth. I feel even in the last 6 months, Wednesday edition itself has grown. That being said, we are not going to spend quality time discussing any lists, any emails, any code words, any fake suicides, any associations, any plans to take over the world, any sex islands, or any cannibalism. Whatever you do, don't do any research on Kuru, Kuru, like I did this week. Unless, of course, you want to be completely freaked out and grossed out at the same time. The time spent discussing all of this yuck that is now public is time we can be discussing growth, health, goals, mindful thinking, and living in the present. Amen for freedom of choice, right? Your world and what you choose for it is completely up to you. If you want to live in the dark and the yuck, you do you. If you want to live in the light and the peace, you do you too. Is everyone following along? Speaking of light, did I mention we gain around an hour of daylight in February? For those of you out there like me that have been trudging through our seasonal affective disorder, this is huge. And here in Colorado, at least, we move our clocks forward on March 8th. And then everything will be back in place. And things should start getting back to normal, right? If you really want to get online and start digging through files, decoding emails, and looking for needles in haystacks, go for it. They are all public, redacted, and there for your viewing. I'm sure that delay in releasing these had nothing to do with eliminating anything incriminating. I mean, the stuff I've seen is still pretty incriminating, right? Incriminating. I'm sure each and every wrongdoer in all of this evidence will be brought to justice and will be punished by every means of the judicial system, right? At the end of the day, when all of the dust has settled and we've set all of the yuck aside, what do we have? We have ourselves, we have our thoughts, we have our bodies, and we have our actions, right? How are we going to act? How are we going to treat ourselves and others? And what are we going to let affect us? What is in our control and what is out of our control? We talk about it all of the time. We all know there is a bunch of yuck and ick out there. And I feel those in the Wednesday edition community like to acknowledge and recognize more of the peace and serenity that is also available to us. It's a strategy we use to help all components of our overall health. Amen for serenity and health. If you really think about it, though, we really wouldn't know peace and serenity if it wasn't for the yuck and the ick. Holy shit. Scott is going really deep on this week's edition of Wednesday Edition. Not deep, just living in the moment and doing my best to keep things somewhat simple and hopefully be able to convey some of my life experiences and solutions with you, my friends, the Wednesday Edition network posse people, right? Things are really upside down in the world. The other day, I looked up the meaning of Banana Republic. Now, I wouldn't say we are there, but we are definitely dipping our toes in the water, if you know what I mean. I don't think this meaning I found is too far off base, okay? Banana Republic's historically focus on Central and South America. The term is now used to describe any nation with a struggling economy, high corruption, and sometimes to describe a democracy in decline. I think we've rebounded from that. I think we were close to that. I mean, there is still high corruption, right? Are we a democracy in decline, or has the way we look at and define democracy changed? At the end of the day, aren't we going to spin it how we want to see it? We can still accept other people's opinions too, right? We don't always have to approve, Last week's approval rating dipped from like a 170 the week before to a 165 last week. Not everybody approved, right? There isn't progress without setbacks. The numbers may change, but as we preach, if we gave our best, which we did, then that is the only approval we need, right? So with all of this yuck and ick filtering into my feed, because I click on a lot of it, so do you, so do you, I stumbled across a foundation that apparently this Jeffrey Epstein fella was at one time on the board of directors or something like that. Check this out. The Lifeboat Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preventing existential risks from technological advancements such as AI, nanotechnology, and genetic engineering. It works to safeguard humanity by promoting funding and conducting research on existential threats, and it advocates for the development of friendly technologies and defensive strategies. Existential. The foundation funds scientific projects at universities and institutes designed to mitigate risks from technological mishaps, pandemics, or environmental catastrophes. It works on creating friendly AI and developing AI safety shields to ensure artificial intelligence behaves in ways that are not harmful to humanity. They research long-term survival strategies, including sustainable space colonies, to ensure the continuation of human civilization. The organization utilizes a board of experts to provide analysis on risks and publishes information to educate the public. They maintain the Global Existential Threat Advisory Systems. It's a monitoring system for global risks. Okay. 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 Sure. I got it. So, this Jeffrey Epstein guy was on the board of directors of the Lifeboat Foundation. Seriously, what could go wrong? Can everyone do their good pal Scott a favor this week and just take this story as one of those stories that you should hop on your laptop one night instead of binging on some mindless 39 season series? Take 15 minutes and at least check out the website. This is real shit. I can't make it up. How did we go from drive-in movie theaters, landlines, skipping school without pushed agendas, and real Pizza Huts, not the fake ones that are all shutting down? How did we go from all of that to mitigating pandemic risks, lunar colonizations, and friendly or non-friendly artificial intelligence? What's next? Are you going to try and tell me that they want some sort of standardized currency or something? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I forgot. They already want that. I'm not the only one that shakes his head in dismay when I walk into a store and there is a sign on the door telling me that the store rounds up because they stopped using pennies, am I? Cash Friday is in 2 days, people. Stop by the ATM on Friday, grab some cash for the weekend, and find a local business or a local artist and spend some cash with them. Help keep the dollar alive, please. Pretty please. I would steer away from giving any of your cash to the Lifeboat Foundation. My podcast, my thoughts, my opinions. I want to say one more thing about these files, and then I want to finish the podcast upbeat, positive, and less in the dark, and more in the light. I think we can all jump on board with that. I, Scott Leisure, am not one of those people that is going to endlessly waste time reading through 3 million files. I will click on stuff while I'm scrolling. I will check out things that y'all send me, and I will hold on to that original list of names that was leaked or surfaced on Twitter a while ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. The people on that list, sadly, I have to cancel. And there are people on that list that I enjoyed following. I guess that is also part of our current world. Who we cancel, who we don't, what are the boundaries people that we follow have to cross for us to cancel, right? I like to use Wednesday Edition as an extension of myself, as I've talked about. I use it as an extension of my creative freedoms and energies, and I like to use it as a vehicle for my freedom of speech and opinions. I think that's fair. Now, in doing this, it also allows the community, us, to get to know me, at least the parts I'm willing to share, right? So there's an entertainer slash musician that I have followed closely for a lot of years in my life. we're not going to name names because it's not important. I've always been a huge fan of this person's work. I've purchased records and CDs and even cassette tapes. So that will give you an idea of how long. Now, this guy isn't on the list or in the emails or in any photos. Back in the day, he was just a guy playing guitar, putting his thoughts and ideas to paper and singing, playing in bands, forming his own bands, and just doing his thing. Amen for goals, right? You can't really hate on a person for carving their own path, standing by their beliefs, and singing rock and roll, right? Well, there are a lot of things that I like about this guy, and there are also things that I don't like, just like everyone. Oh, thank you. This just into Wednesday edition. You aren't going to like everything about everyone, and they aren't going to like everything about you. So, is this reason to unfollow or cancel someone? Or can I just cancel the parts of the person I don't agree with? Accept the fact that he can have his opinions and I can have mine. The choice is mine. What you think about my choice and my opinions is about you, right? Didn't we talk about it earlier? What can I control and what can I not control? In fact, I'm pretty sure that the next time you are on YouTube checking out past editions of Wednesday Edition, you might hear us mention acceptance of things out of our control somewhere on a past podcast. So I guess at the end of the day, when I have seized all that I could seize and I have drank enough water, I've consumed enough protein, paid some bills, got some cardio, maybe did some meditation, drove the speed limit, didn't break the law, didn't make any poor choices, didn't interfere with anything, and thought of good, productive, and beneficial ways to spend my day, when I put my head down on the pillow, it is still my choice as to who I want to include in my inner circle and my greater outer circle, right? It's my choice and opinion who I want to cancel and how much of that person I want to cancel. And some people make it really easy to completely cancel. Amen again for freedom of choice. It all still reduces down to identifying what is in my control and out of my control, right? My response to things in my control, and definitely my response to things out of my control. And it also boils down to what parts of those things are going to bring me serenity and peace, and which things am I going to have to maneuver and accept that they are the way they are going to be. Choose my battles, right? And I'll say it again. We can't be out breaking the law, hurting ourselves, hurting others, or generally causing mayhem. This is becoming a weekly reminder, friends. It takes a lot of the things that we try to preach here on Wednesday edition, and it takes a lot of discipline. I read a good description of discipline the other day. Discipline is when your calm looks more badass than someone's anger. Just because you are angry about something does not mean you are right. Work on some of these things if you have a problem with discipline. Understand yourself. Know your strengths and weaknesses. take away temptations. If you're trying to change the way you eat, stop buying the things you shouldn't be eating. Sometimes the most simple things are the most difficult. Set some goals. You know, I love the word goals. Practice daily diligence. Sometimes what seems like a big sacrifice initially turns out to not be such a big deal. Is everyone up to speed? Diligence. Remember last week when we were discussing living in the now, in the present, living in the moment? It has been my experience through my own self examination and discovery that when I, Scott Leisure, can slow my shit down and be able to live right in the very moment, that is where I find a lot of discipline, a lot of calm, and a lot of growth, especially when a lot of things outside of my control are going on. Amen for discipline. Wow. Tonight's edition feels like we may not have had a lot of different topics, but it feels like we covered a lot. Discipline, daylight, lunar globalization, seasonal affective disorder, friendly AI, banana republics, and who could forget the mention of cannibalism, all neatly packaged into 20 minutes or so on a Wednesday. I really like it. I do. Help keep cash alive and Google these 3 things this week, okay? Number 1, Google Banana Republic. If it brings up a bunch of khakis and pastels, you're looking at the wrong Banana Republic. Number 2, Google Kuru. I'm not going to say anything more about it. Number 3, Google the Lifeboat Foundation and read up on some of that creepy shit, okay? You know, Jeffrey Epstein once said, the price we pay for associating with the wrong people is enough reason for us to be stricter about who we keep in our circles, right? No, he didn't say that. If you're even in a circle of that guy, you might want to practice some of that living in the now stuff. Just saying. Just saying. And we all know there's a good chance that that guy isn't dead, right? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. The top 5 songs from February 11th, 1978, before AI. Okay. Let's do this. Number 5. Just the Way You Are, Billy Joel. There are worse Billy Joel songs. I'll give Billy Joel a pass this week, okay? 1 for 1. Number 4, We Are the Champions, Queen. I mean, that should be number 1 right there. Queen, We Are the Champions. 2 for 2. A solid start. Number 3, Love is Thicker Than Water, Andy Gibb. Yeah. I listened to it. Go ahead. Google that song too. Be my guest. Be my guest. 2 for 3. Number 2 from February 11th, 1978. Short People, Randy Newman. Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason to live. They got little hands and little eyes, and they walk around telling great big lies. They got little noses and tiny little teeth. They wear platform shoes on their nasty little feet. Wow. How did the song about short people reach number 2? Weird song. Funny lyrics. 3 for 4. And the number 1 song from February 11th, 1978, Stayin' Alive, the Bee Gees. 4 for 5. Nice. So every Brothers Gibb was on the countdown this week. I haven't heard any mention of Andy Gibb, Robin Gibb, Maurice Gibb, or Barry Gibb getting any pizza emails from this Epstein guy either. Amen for the Bee Gees. And amen for this week's edition of Wednesday Edition. Practice some discipline this week. Live in the moment. Drink your water. Get some cardio. Eat some real food. And don't get trafficked. Now that the days have more daylight, your chances of getting trafficked should diminish a little. Well done, friends. Thank you for making Wednesday Edition part of your week. And thank you for allowing me to express myself with you. It's been a good one. It's been a good one. Wednesday Edition. Every Wednesday, 5 p.m., Instagram, YouTube, and scottleisure.com. Practice some discipline this week by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you again. Remain vigilant, remain safe, and remain in your lane.